How can I share this link?
I'll share with you after we finish.
Okay.
Hey, what up, Falcons Nation? Rise Up Nation. It's your boy Jazzy Jeff. Real talk, no gimmicks. Bring that real Falcons talk to real Falcons fans. And you know what today is? Today's game day, Week 14 versus those Chargers. And I got two special guests in the house today. My man Smitty Sports Machine. He don't need no introduction, but I'm allow him to go ahead.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know who it is, man. Smitty Smith, Smitty Sports Machine. Hey, man, y'all know how I get down. Y'all know how I do it.
And then my other special guest, Nick, why don't you go introduce yourself, introduce your channel, tell them what you're all about.
Nick Williams, born and raised in Illinois. I call myself, before I knew Jazzy Jeff was from Illinois, I called myself the biggest Falcons fan in Illinois. But you guys can follow my YouTube channel, The Scrape. I'm on Twitter at BoyWonder32, 2 eyes. Big Falcons fan. Hopefully we can get this W today. I appreciate you having me on.
And before I start, guys, I want to tell a story about Nick because I went to the Falcons-Colts game back in 2019, and I'm watching the Falcons get their ass kicked, and we can't lay a finger on Jacoby Brissett. That line blocked the hell out of us. So I'm pissed off. So I go to get a beer, and I run into this dude just talking football, and I thought I'd never see this guy again. I was like, hey, take care. So I go home, and then I'm doing a video, and this dude comments. He says, hey, Jazzy Jeff, I like your videos. I'm like, hey, no problem. Follow me on Twitter. Get on Twitter, and then he writes me on Twitter. He's like, hey, you kind of look familiar. I'm like, what do you mean I look familiar? He's like, hey, wasn't that you at the Falcons-Colts game at the Bud Light section? I said, oh, yeah, that was me. And he's like, hey, man, I make YouTube channels too, man. It's a small world. So we've been cool ever since. Please follow my man Nick Williams on his YouTube channel. He's an up-and-coming Falcons content creator. Please follow his channel, subscribe his channel. Now let's get to this damn game. I'm going to start with the injuries. Julio Jones is out. We already know that. Caleb McGarry is a non-injury, but he's out for a personal matter. Can y'all tell us how y'all feel about this game going in, and I'll let you know my thoughts. Smitty, you can go first.
To be honest, I think the injury to McGarry may be more, hurting than Julio Jones because some reason they always find a way to play better when Julio is not playing. I guess it takes some of the pressure off, Matt Ryan, but he still has other receivers he can get the ball to. But replacing an offensive lineman is tough in this league. I don't always agree with how McGarry plays, but it's a big blow because he's a main part of our offensive line. But I think they'll find a way around it. I think Gano will probably start at right tackle. I don't know yet. But I think that'll be a much bigger blow.
Nick, what up? What about you?
Man, I feel a lot of the same. I know Matt Gano, he can step in, he can step up, but who's going to be our starter? Is Christian Blake going to start for Julio today? Is Zacchaeus out?
Oh, yeah, Zacchaeus is still injured, correct?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, we got Christian Blake, and then we got from the practice squad Laquan Treadwell in case we need him.
I don't think he'll play much, but I want to say it now. I have a feeling Russell Gage is going to have a nice day today. I think look for Russell Gage to come through today. At least a touchdown, maybe 100 yards. Defensively, we can't just sit back there and let Justin Herbert, you know what I'm saying? We got to keep bringing pressure for him for sure. You know what I mean?
So I kind of agree with Smitty. Y'all know they have Joey Bosa, who has 7.5 sacks. And without Caleb McGarry, Joey Bosa plays on both sides of the line. And they also have Melvin Ingram. So, and we already know our run game is non-existent. Todd Gurley says he's healthy again and he's feeling good and he's going to do all this damage. I don't want to hear all that bullshit. Miss me with that because your knee's looking old and I don't know what you're going to do. Man, this guy, I was so hyped. I bought his damn jersey and canceled it. I was so hyped for Todd Gurley. And I'm so glad I canceled his jersey because he's been a bum all season. And I feel like a fool hyping this dude up coming to our team. Man, he look old, bro. He look old, man.
I agree.
And we ain't running the ball anymore, and it's getting Matt killed. And without McGarry today, it's gonna be tough sledding, I think. And you're right on the defensive side, man. How are we gonna stop Keenan Allen? Because Keenan Allen is a monster. This dude gets like 11, 12 targets a game, and I don't know if you followed them. I have Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert on my fantasy teams, but Justin Herbert has blinders for Keenan Allen. That's all he throws to. I mean, heavy. And now they got Austin Eckler back in the backfield, and they throw to him. He's the second leading target share on the team. So they are heavy on Eckler, heavy on Keenan Allen.
Don't forget about Mike Williams.
AJ Terrell gonna have to man up on this game. He gonna have to. Because last game, let's be honest, Michael Thomas was eating his lunch. Anytime Michael Thomas wanted that inside slant, he got it every single time. And guess what? And Keenan Allen runs way more routes than Michael Thomas. He does everything, but one of his butters is the inside slant for first downs on third down conversion. So it's gonna be a long day if we can't stop those two. What do y'all see from Justin Herbert? Did y'all see this coming out of college? Because I didn't watch Oregon.
Well, I actually did. I told one of my buddies, I think he has, a Drew Bledsoe type skill set. And you just give him time in the pocket, he could tear you apart. And I know that you didn't mention Mike Williams, but Mike Williams is one of the young up-and-coming receivers in the league. He's just as dangerous as Keenan Allen. So you add him, Allen, and Hunter Henry. I think, that's, dangerous. And what the Falcons have been struggling in, like you said, is in the seams. If you give him the seams all day, he's going to pick you apart.
Yeah, Nick, what do you think about Justin Herbert coming out of college? Did you see this coming?
Not quite to the extent that he's playing at right now. One of my actually best friends I grew up with is a big time Chargers fan. We watch a draft together every year and shit. So he didn't know if he wanted Justin Herbert or not, and he was kind of upset that he took him. But now he's actually really happy they took him. So I can't say that I thought that he was going to play like he is right now, but he's definitely come into his own. And if we don't bring pressure on him today, and if we don't man up in the back seven, it might be a long day for us.
I mean, the Chargers had to take him. What's his name? Tyrod Taylor's a journeyman, and Phillip Rivers is old as hell. So they had to get a quarterback. They got the right one. Let's go to the chat section real quick. Lamont says, "Hey, Jazzy Jeff, what up? What up, Lamont? Who else is here? Lil Biscuit. What up, Lil Biscuit? Joe Houston says, rise up from Cali. Oh, we got a Falcons fan all the way from Cali. That's what's up. Bobby Boy Zone 3 said, let's get it. Archangel, rise up. Falcons, Hawks, Braves fan extraordinaire says, what up, Jazzy Jeff? This season has been a disaster, but I'm still here. Hey, we here. Win, lose, or draw, we still gonna be here. We ain't gonna disappear. Like Saints fans, when things get rough, Saints fans disappear. Archangel says, I have Allen on my fantasy team also. Paul Max says, real talk, no gimmicks. Neil Var says, VA in the house. Oh, we got a Virginia Falcons fan. That's what's up. The second thing I want to talk about is Calvin Ridley. He hasn't shown the ability when Julio Jones comes out to, in my opinion, to be that number one receiver. And in my opinion, I don't think he's built to be a number one receiver. He suffers with injuries as well already early in his career. He's a lot skinnier in frame size. He gets pushed around a lot in press coverage. Do y'all think moving forward we can trust Calvin Ridley as a number one receiver? Or do you think we gotta find somebody else in case Julio Jones, starts to fully break down? We have to get rid of him.
I'll let you go first, Smitty.
I don't think he's a number one receiver, but I think he's a solid number two. As you mentioned, small frame, and that's the key to it all. Every number one receiver has to have physicality, be able to come off the line with a great release. Now, his route running is elite, but, when it comes to blocking and things of that nature, number one receiver has to do all of that. And in crunch time, he has to produce, and I have yet to see that from him. He's good from the first to the third quarter, but when you get to the fourth quarter, I think his play declines just a little bit.
What you think, Nick?
It seems like as soon as Julio goes out the game, that if they shade that coverage towards Ridley, he's not getting open everyone else like Julio gets open everyone else. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely agree with both of you guys. I do think he's an elite top route runner in the league. I think if you break down the number twos in NFL, I think he's a top 5 number 2 receiver in the league. But when you take Julio out of the mix, like today, we will really find out today. We're really gonna have our answers questions today, I think. But yeah, I agree. I don't think he's quite yet number 1 for us yet. I don't know.
And being a small frame receiver through the history of the NFL, you're hard pressed to find a number 1 receiver who has that size. Like Antonio Brown, that's a once in a lifetime type player. To me, Calvin really looks more like a poor man's Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett, no matter who's in the game, he's going to produce, and he can do everything. I don't think Calvin really has the same amount of route running skills, but for some reason, Tyler Lockett is way tougher than Calvin Ridley for his size. I think he's smaller than Calvin Ridley, to be honest with you. Is he smaller than Calvin Ridley?
Yeah,
and that dude, I mean, he's not fazed by anything, and he never gets hurt. He's solid. So moving forward, I am worried if we have to move on from Julio Jones. Julio Jones is a once in a generation player. We're gonna struggle to replace that position. So I am real worried about that.
Before you move on, I have a question. So what do you think? Do you think this possibly, you think we need to let go after this year or what?
Oh, that's the final topic of the day, because there's a lot of stuff that goes into that, like coaching, who we get, etc. So that's the last topic. The second topic has to do with Falcons fans and this game, the end result of this game, lose or win. Like, how do you guys go into this game? Because obviously, even if we win, the best we can do is 8-8. And a lot of Falcons fans out there are talking about tanking. Now, me, I am an anti-tanking person, and I want to know y'all thoughts about tanking versus not tanking before I give my opinion.
Go ahead, Nick.
I don't want to tank. We definitely don't need to be tanking for anybody. We're out there to play the game, to win the game, every single game. So the last thing anybody on that team is worried about is tanking for sure. That's what I think. I think we need to try to win every single game that we can. We'd already let 3 slip right through the cracks this year, so let's try to make it up, and let's try to play spoiler for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I don't like tanking either. You get paid to do a job. You're playing for a job next year. And I think, to be honest, it's the scouting department to put the right players on the field. So no matter where you pick, or whether it's first or 31st, you should get the best talent available, someone that fits your system. So exactly. I don't believe in tanking.
And I have a couple of reasons why I don't believe in tanking. Number one is football is not basketball. You can tank in basketball and just not give effort and just lag off on the court, and it's no problem. Football, you get injured or you get someone else injured if you're not trying, if you're not giving your effort. If you're an offensive lineman and you're mailing it in, you won't get your quarterback beat up. Right. Standing, you can't stand around in football. Football is moving parts. You have to keep your head on a swivel. Even if you out there just running around, someone could just knock your block off. So you can get injured tanking. Number two, you can't just flip on that switch. Like, you got to create a culture of winning. And how you going to do that when you tanking all the time? Like, number three, look at the history of the teams that tank and tell me where they are right now. The Jets lose all the time, and every time you watch them, it looks like they tank, and guys don't try. And they always got the first pick or second pick. They always have losing seasons. They always got quarterbacks getting beat up or other guys getting beat up. So tanking, to me, I don't understand the number. And just for the heart of being a fan of this team, who wants to see their team lose? Period. Like it's about, like Smitty said, it's a respect, a dignity thing. Like, you getting paid to do a job. And I don't respect anybody on this team who don't want to try. I don't want a team full of Vic Beasley on this team. I just don't. Okay? Because that's what tanking to get you. A team full of fucking Vic Beasleys who stand out there and don't do shit once they're blocking, once the rush moves don't work. I don't want that. I want guys busting their ass every single game. So it's just tough, man, because I have all these people talking about, Jazzy Jeff, why are you doing these preview videos? We go suck anyways. Why are you even talking about the Falcons, bro? We just need a tank. We need a tank. I'm like, bruh, tanking for, first of all, we ain't gonna get Lawrence, so that, take that out your head. We ain't gonna get Fields, take that out your head. Even if we got a quarterback, it ain't gonna fix all the shit that's going on with this team. We are more than a quarterback away from fixing this team. So what's tanking really gonna do? Get you one great player? That ain't gonna fix the rest of this culture of this team. So
they fail
tanking,
to realize.
right? It blows my mind that people want to see this team lose on purpose. Like, that's a loser mentality, and I'm never down with that. Go ahead, Smitty.
One more thing. I don't even think Raheem Morris will let that happen. He's a no-nonsense coach, and he's coaching for a future job, whether it's here or elsewhere. So I don't think he's going to let that happen no way.
And I know they throw the word tanking around all the time, but I really don't even know. I really don't think any team in the NFL like really tanks. Like, I don't think they're going out there to lose so they can get so-and-so player in the draft, or you know what I'm saying? Like, so they can get the draft capital. I don't really believe that. I believe that they stop caring as much. You're like, oh, we're out of the playoffs, so what are we playing for? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like they don't really have that. They don't have that oomph to go out there and do it anymore because they're out of it. But I don't really believe that they're going out there like, oh, we need a tank. So you know what I'm saying? So we can get so and so. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? You get where I'm coming from a little bit?
I have seen teams beef in the locker room because some players wanted to tank, but I've never seen an entire team purposely tank. I've never seen that.
Right.
What I have seen is players start fat catting. Once they get their fat contract, they stop trying or stop playing. Yeah. Hey, they're on a losing team, but they got paid. So, hey, why try? You know, I seen that. But you're right. I don't think I've seen a team tank on purpose. But, Smitty, you brought up a point about Raheem Morris, which leads me into my next point. Raheem Morris, is he staying on this team?
At this point, I'm going to say no. But anything could happen. I think the players respect him and what they have. And to let him coach one more year, I think it wouldn't be a bad idea because he's comfortable with the player. They're comfortable with him. So right now, I would say no. But
Nick?
I guess anything could happen.
Honestly, I'm so week to week on it, man. I'm so back and forth. At first, when he took over, I was like, if he can make the playoffs, then yeah. I'd like to keep him somehow on our team, you know what I'm saying? Whether if it's defensive coordinator, somewhere, you know what I'm saying, in the front office. It don't even matter where he's at. I'd like to keep him around, but I don't know. I think he might get a better opportunity somewhere else. If not, I think we need. Hopefully we try to go for Bieniemy, the Riddick situation. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully we try to go that route, but I don't think he's going to be our head coach in 2021.
All right, Smitty, let me ask you a better question. Do you want him to stay on our team?
His demeanor, I would say yes, because of his demeanor and his way of coaching. Like I said, he's no nonsense, and that's exactly what Atlanta needs to hold players accountable because that's something Dan Quinn, couldn't do. If players messed up,
players coach, man,
the next week, and still, no change. So no change in 3 years. It was time for him to go. But Raheem Morris, I would like to see him stay, but like I say, I seriously, doubt it because I'm gonna be honest. I think Atlanta needs a culture change in the locker room. That's just what it basically boils down.
I agree with you. I think if the Falcons had all the horses and the stars on our team to compete, Raheem Morris would be a good coach. But right now, we don't got that on our team, and we need a culture change, to be honest with you. Raheem Morris has been through the ringer as a coach, with the Bucs and our team, and I just want a brand new culture complete. I'm top to bottom. I'm talking GM, coach. Hell, I want Rich McKay gone, to be honest with you. I want all of them gone.
Yeah.
But if we only get coach and GM, I also want a brand new head coach too. But I still want a coach that has the same type of holding players accountable like Raheem Morris, just not Raheem Morris. I don't want one of these players, coaches who wants to be friends with everybody. That shit does not work. At the same time, I don't want a Bruce Arians who publicly tears down his team either. So that's the other extreme end of the spectrum. Bruce Arians to come out there and just tell players that they're playing trash to the media. I want players held accountable, but within inside the confines of the locker room, Don't blast your team, but don't hold your team's hand like Dan Quinn did. So, Nick, let's start with you. Who would you want to be the new head coach of the Atlanta Falcons?
Well, I think first off, on the top of everybody's list is Eric Bieniemy. I've been hearing some chatter. I'm saying people talk on Twitter, so you really can't take that. You got to take that with a grain of salt every time. But some people are starting to say that it might be really Eric Reed, and we might not think Eric Bieniemy is what Eric Bieniemy is. But I personally still think he can be a big time head coach in the NFL. Outside of him, I'm still kind of stuck on. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I still kind of stuck on like Robert Saleh, maybe from the 49ers defensive coordinator. Maybe somehow a lot of people. I've talked to a couple people about this too. I don't know why I like Gary Kubiak still. I think I don't know his run schemes and stuff like that. I think might benefit us a little bit. But for me personally, the top three guys I would like to see is Bieniemy, probably Kubiak, and Saleh.
Would you still want Robert Saleh to call the defense?
No, I don't.
Because the Niners are a heavy cover team. They barely run man coverage. And you know the Falcons are ass on cover 2 and cover 3. We're ass on that. I mean, we're way better when we blitzing and we playing man coverage, to be honest with you. So
I 100% agree. I don't like whenever the head coach is doing more than being the head coach. I don't like when the head coach is calling plays offensively,
absolutely,
defensively. I like them to be the head coach, and that's that.
Smitty?
Yeah. I like Eric Bieniemy as well, but I'm gonna throw a sleeper out there, but he's really not a sleeper. Arthur Smith, Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator. Runs zone blocking scheme. What I think that could extend Matt Ryan and Julio Jones' career.
You going the Mad Mike route?
So I would like an offensive coach that focuses on the run game.
If he doesn't call our plays, I would be happy with him being head coach, because I'm telling you, I watched Tennessee Titans play. They are a frustrating offense to watch. They are great in between the hashes, but once they get in the red zone, they always get so fucking cute. They first and goal from the 1, they doing play actions, they doing fade routes instead of running the fucking biggest, strongest running back in the NFL. And then when it gets to third down and they got like 3rd and 10, then they want to run Derrick Henry. It makes no fucking sense. I can't stand the Titans play calling in the red zone. When it comes to actually like from the 20-yard line out, they are great calling plays. I'll give you that. They do a lot of stuff where you can't just game plan on stopping Derrick Henry. They have a lot of exotic play actions. They have a lot of exotic looks where it looks like a run play, but it's not. But goddamn, they get so damn frustrating in the red zone. I lose my goddamn mind. One of them is the reason because one of my big money leagues, I have Derrick Henry and I have to watch them. They're fucking infuriating. That's a good one though. A lot of people are talking about the Saints defensive coordinator. Was it Dennis Allen? What do y'all think about that?
No.
Is it because he's on the Saints, or is it because you just don't like the way he coaches?
I watched him out in Oakland, man, when he was out in Oakland as the head coach.
Okay.
It just seemed like he just couldn't get control of the team. And you don't need that. I know they weren't very good back then, but as a coach, I just don't think he got through to his players. And I still don't really see it in New Orleans because at sometimes before this year, defense was still off. So I just don't think he's a good leader.
Nick, what do you think about him?
Saints defense playing damn well right now. I'll give it to him, even though that's the last team I want to say anything about. But
I credit that more to the GM getting better players.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really know too much on Dennis Allen. You know what I mean? So I'm really just, as soon as you said somebody about the Saints coming to coach for us, I said no. You know what I mean? Like that's more where I was going with my bias. Like I don't want nobody from over there. You know what I mean? So
I hear you,
because next thing you grab him, and then next year we acting like we're supposed to be playing. You know what I mean? We're playing how we're supposed to be, and the next thing you know, it's the Saints fans all in our mentions, blowing our mentions up like, oh, because you guys had to cut. I don't want nothing to do with the Saints personnel, organization, nothing like that. So we're gonna keep Dennis Allen where he's at, we're gonna go ahead and go a different direction for sure. This is the first time I've heard someone say something about him coming over, but let's hope Arthur Blank goes in a different direction.
Hey, as much as I think Marshawn Lattimore is the biggest punk bitch in the NFL, he's a good player. And the moment he come out the game, the Saints defense regresses back to the old defense I'm used to seeing. So I'll give him his due, even though he holds all the damn time. I mean, that man's a holding motherfucker. I swear to God. But let's move to GM. Now, you already saw my video. I said Louis Riddick for a multitude of reasons. What do y'all think about Louis Riddick? And is there someone else you'd rather have instead of him?
I like Louis Riddick as well. I like Louis Riddick. I think that article that the Falcons posted about Louis Riddick, not even a week ago, probably earlier this week, I read it, and he's responsible, not directly responsible, but he's low-key responsible for a lot of players that the Redskins took back in the day, along with the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? So I like Louis Riddick. I think everybody likes Louis Riddick, watching him on Monday Night Football and stuff. So I like Louis Riddick. He's definitely my number one for sure.
Smitty?
Yeah, I like Louis Riddick as well. I did a video on him also. I like what he brings as a scout and, the way he breaks down the game. And as I've said many times, I think players make better GMs because they played the game. They know, what fits and what doesn't fit. So, that is probably the main reason why I would take Louis Riddick.
And that was one of my points in my video, because a lot of people were like, Louis Riddick doesn't have a great resume. Like what has he done in the league? Blah blah blah. Who cares? Who cares about the player?
Hold on, Jeff. I'm glad you said that. Mike Mayock, former ESPN, NFL Network analyst.
Stealing all my points, Smitty.
A lot of the people said that was ridiculous. But the way he breaks down film, he watches film 24/7. And what has he done with Oakland? He said, let's get rid of Khalil Mack, let's rebuild. He's put everything in place like he's supposed to. They're probably, I would say, one pass rusher away from being an elite team all the way.
And for years, the Oakland Raiders were horrible at drafting. I mean, we talking Darius Haywood-Bay just because he ran a fast 40, but he couldn't catch to save his life. That is what the Raiders were known for, reaching for wide receivers that were fast and couldn't catch a lick. But you're right. Mike Mayock, he reinvested in the offensive line, the running game, and the defense, and they are so competitive. They run the ball down your throat. They stick to it. Their defense is tough. John Abram, one of my favorite safeties to watch in the NFL. I mean, he old school. He like a Sean Taylor safety. Knock your block off. Don't care if he hurts himself. I mean, he gets his nose in there. Mike Mayock picked these guys, and he deserves a ton of credit. And like you said, he came off of TV. John Lynch, also a former player, like you said, Nick, doing a great job. I definitely think Louis Riddick, first of all, people forget Thomas Dimitroff never played in the NFL. Thomas Dimitroff came as a college scout for most of his career from the New England Patriots, and then he joined on. He leaped steps that Riddick had way more experience in terms of scouting and actually evaluating talent than Thomas Dimitroff did. But I don't know. I don't know if that's privilege that Thomas Dimitroff just got to jump to GM, but Louis Riddick has paid his dues enough to be a GM. So people who are saying that he hasn't done enough to be GM, then Thomas Dimitroff didn't do enough to be a GM. So if y'all gonna say that, there's a lot more GMs in this league who have done way less than Louis Riddick. So I'm with you. He also played for the Falcons. Pros and people say, "Oh yeah, but he had Jazzy Jeff. He has no experience picking players." Being a pro scout, being an evaluator, being a pro personnel director, that is all about evaluating talent. Just because you're not at the end of the day, you don't have the authorization to pick a person, doesn't mean that your input wasn't there because you were a pro scout. You give the GM your notes and your evaluations on players. That's how that works. So Louis Riddick had a lot to do with that, and I think Smitty, he'll do a great job as well. I want to get real quick into the chat and see who's in here. We got 18 people in the chat. Please, guys, like the chat, subscribe to Smitty Sports Machine, subscribe to Nick Williams. Nick Williams, what's your YouTube name? Just so they know.
The Scrape. I ain't got my I'm not up to date on my content. I think the last game I did was after I don't know. I haven't put out a video in about 3 weeks. Definitely still follow the Scrape. I'm definitely gonna be getting some content up.
All right, follow my man the Scrape, and we are going to the chat real quick to see what they talking about. A lot of people talking about Robert Saleh will be a culture change, a fresh face. I wouldn't mind that. The whole Ultra Shadow 97, thank you for joining the stream. He says the whole DQ regime needs to be wiped out. That's a little personal, bro. I mean, yeah, fired. Let's see who else. Robert Saleh checks all the boxes. Great man, good character. Gary Pace, thank you for joining the stream. Says we need an offensive-minded head coach this time. All right, but I still need to know who's going to fix this defense. I have no problem keeping Jeff Ulbrich as long as we get the pieces together. I think he's a phenomenal defensive coordinator, to be honest with you. It was night and day. The moment Dan Quinn left and Ulbrich calling the plays, man, the defense looks like we can actually play. And to realize that, hey, Isaiah Oliver sucks on the outside of his corner. Let's try moving him inside. Let's try him at safety. Those are things Dan Quinn would never even think of. He would just keep rolling out the same shit, the same speech every week, and that shit got stale, bro. It wasn't working. Gary Page says, hell, look at Joe Judge in New York. Nobody thought he would be shit, but now he got them boys playing hard. Yeah, a lot of people laughed at Joe Judge. Who the hell is Joe Judge? He got them boys playing hard. I don't know if you ever saw Joe Judge in practice. A couple of his videos went viral. He goes out there and he's actually like hitting his own players. He's rolling around in mud. He's running sprints with them. Like Joe Judge is like, he showed you that he cares about the team and he gonna hold himself accountable. I like Joe Judge. Neil Marsh says the fake handoff and stuff. Yeah. Dabble would be solid. What do y'all think about Dabble Sweeney?
He not
Smitty
going
shaking
nowhere.
his head. Smitty, why not?
He got it made in Clemson, man. He gets the best recruits in the nation. He's getting paid, out the butthole. So if I was him, I would just stay where I'm at.
Hey, just like Nick Saban. Nick Saban thought it was sweet. Left college, went to the Dolphins. Look at him. He left like in 1 year. Y'all remember that?
Steve Spurrier too.
Yeah. It's tough when you come from a great program. You're right, and you get handed everything, and then expect you to do the same on the college level. Pete Carroll's one of the only ones where it actually worked out for him. I know a lot of people want to what's his name? Urban Meyer. What y'all think about that one?
His track record with his health, and he's won 3 national titles, but after he hit his peak, he just crashes like an airplane. So it's about
Nick, is there any college coaches you consider?
Yeah, I think he a college coach, man. Urban Meyer straight college.
No college coaches. I don't think.
No college coaches? Why not?
No. We need someone that's established already in the NFL. You know what I mean? I think we need somebody that's going to bring that culture in immediately. Not that a college coach wouldn't do that, but exactly what you said. Outside of Pete Carroll, I mean, we've seen Chip Kelly. You know what I'm saying? Like they come, they do their stints and they go right back. So I'm more of I want somebody that's somebody that's already established in the league.
But if we got a younger quarterback who I would like to see as an offensive coordinator in the NFL, and y'all might laugh, but Mike Leach, the way he runs his offense, wide open, I would love to see that in the NFL. Because dual threat quarterbacks are becoming a thing now. And you have a wide open offense like he runs, it would be fun to watch. It would be like the 90s run and shoot, upgraded on steroids.
All right, let's get back to the chat. Eli Layfield says, bring in Ray Lewis as our head coach. I don't know about that. Neil Mark says, a GM position in football isn't something that a college-educated businessman does any better than a palm reader with a third-grade education. Neil Mark says, Gary Page likes Ken Norton Jr.
I can see that.
You can see that?
Yeah.
Ultrasound says, remember that 2011 Eagles Dream Team with Vince Young? Yeah. Hey, you're right, Nick. Chip Kelly ran that team into the ground. I mean, the dumbest play calls I've ever seen. I mean, he thought it was a smart idea to take DeMarco Murray, a downhill runner, and run him west and east on jet sweeps. Like,
I forgot about that.
This ain't the NFL. This ain't college. This is the NFL.
Yeah,
he ruined that team, man. Steel Wing says, I don't want a DC as a head coach for our team anymore. Do y'all have a preference, DC versus offensive coordinator for our head coach moving forward? Or do you just want the best coach possible?
I think it's best what fits what we have. I'm working on a video right now about defensive coordinator that I think fit best, and it's best fit with what we have on personnel wise, because retooling is a lot easier, and it won't be stressful. If you go with a whole new system, you got to wipe everybody out. So why not get someone that works with what you have right now, build it piece by piece there, and then maybe hey, we back on the winning track in 2 to 3 years.
Nick, what do you think? Do you have a preference either way?
No, I don't. I think whatever's best for us is what we should go with. Right? Offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams coach. You know what I mean? Whoever's most fit for the job, I think that's what we need to bring in. And I really, I know we wouldn't have never done it. You know what I'm saying? We got to let Kyle Shanahan go when we let him go. But man, just think if we could have had him as our head coach, bro. Over, you know what I'm saying? We should let Dan. We somehow should have kept Kyle. That's who I want. You know what I'm saying? I still really like Kyle Shanahan, but I know he's grounded with San Francisco. But I really don't have a preference. I think Kyle at the time would have been the most suitable guy for our team as an organization.
Yeah, and Matt LaFleur right there too. Quarterback coach.
Exactly.
Matt Ryan knows him.
And they're both offensive guys. So naturally, I kind of want to lean towards offense because it seems like when we got that offensive mind that's clicking with Matt in the building, then we're a whole different team. But it really don't matter offensive, defensive, special teams. It don't even matter. Just whoever you know what I'm saying, is most suitable for.
Right.
And let's be honest. A lot of Falcons fans, they hate Kyle Shanahan because of that Super Bowl loss, which we understand. But that man took Jared Goff. Sorry, not Jared Goff. That man took Jimmy Garoppolo to the Super Bowl. That man gave Matt Ryan his MVP. Like, he is a great play calling coach. Some of the stuff he was dialing up for us back then, I mean, he made Turbo Gabriel look good. He made a lot of guys that didn't do nothing after he left look good. And that Niners team, I mean, Matt Ryan would be killing it on that Niners team right now. If Matt Ryan had a run game and Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel, Matt Ryan would be killing it right now on the Niners. So you got to give respect is due. I understand that we all mad at what he, not running it enough in the fourth quarter, but you got to give the man his due. But speaking about offensive coordinator, go ahead real quick.
It goes back to what Nick said, though. Garrett Kubiak, he's all that wrapped up in one. He learned under Mike Shanahan too. So it would be same type system, zone blocking. Go ahead.
So we all in agreement that Dirk Cutter got to go. So who do y'all want to bring in? Nick, go ahead.
It really just depends on who the head coach is, I think. I really don't. I haven't brainstormed that far into it yet. I think I'm still trying to think like who's going to be our coach and stuff like that. I think as the season progresses, you know what I'm saying, and the season ends, I think I might have more idea of who I think we should get. But as of right now, not knowing who our head coach is going to be, not even knowing if we're going to even keep Matt Ryan and Julio after this year with all this speculation going on, I really don't know who we should bring. I don't have nobody comes to mind right now. What about you guys?
Smitty?
Yeah, I don't really have a preference. I'm like you. I'll wait on the head coach to see who that will be. But I would prefer, someone that, predicates the run game. I think that lengthens, like I said, Matt Ryan, Julio Jones' time in Atlanta, if they can't get off those contracts. So a coach that, say like Gary Kubiak. So that would probably be my best guess right now.
I'm with you guys. It depends on, which is going to lead me to my next topic, who we get as coach and GM and the type of team that we want to build moving forward. Which leads me into the next uncomfortable topic, because a lot of people don't want to have this conversation, but I feel like it's starting to be like we got to have this conversation. When is the right time to move on from Matt Ryan and Julio Jones? It's really hard because I want Julio Jones to be a Falcon forever. I don't ever want to see him in another jersey. But I mean, I would think if we ever got rid of him, he'd still want to play on another team. He'd still want to keep playing. I don't think he's just going to hang it up. Same thing with Matt Ryan. So when is the right time to move on from him? And what do you want the future of the Falcons to look like once we do move on from them?
Well, first off, I just want to say I believe that Julio needs to be like our Larry Fitzgerald, man. I think Julio, as long as Julio wants to play football, he don't need to play football anywhere else rather than Atlanta. That's
the suffer.
Like I've been, man. I don't want him to suffer. I just want to believe that.
That's what Larry Fitzgerald's doing. He suffered his whole career, being great, not going anywhere.
You are. I agree, man. It's tough because I want the absolute best for Julio, but at the same time, man, we can't let that man go. We cannot let Julio go, man. No matter what. I don't care if he's 40 years old still out there playing. I'll be damned if he goes. Not
Nick
really.
wants a slave contract. You can't leave this team.
Yeah, he cannot go nowhere. Matt, you know what I'm saying? I fight, you know what I'm saying, head to toe for Matt every single day, it seemed like, on Facebook, Twitter, don't even matter. But if I had to pick one, I think I'm leaning towards I think I'd let Matt go before I let Julio go. A lot of people talk about this Trey Lance coming from North Dakota or whatever, but I don't know. I don't think we need to let go of anybody. I don't think we need to let go of Matt or Julio right now. I don't think it's time.
Smitty?
I would say right now, because you're switching over regimes, they might bring in who they want anyway. What type quarterback? Now Julio can fit in any system in the NFL, but Matt Ryan, I think you get rid of Julio, Matt has to go too. It's like a package deal. If one stays, both stay. One go, both go. So I would not like to see either leave, but with a new regime, I think this is the perfect time to be switching over everything. Makes everything transition, everything.
You make a very valid point right there. I like that.
I agree with y'all. But for different reasons. I just feel like Matt Ryan is so disrespected on our team his entire career. Even our own fans disrespect him. They glorify Michael Vick like he's done more than Matt Ryan, and it's just patently false. And so I understand he's getting older, but I still think he's got a lot left if he was on a better team. And why not?
100%.
I would be happy for Matt Ryan. Why not put him on the Niners back with Kyle Shanahan and let him finish his career out playing well on a competitive team? I would love to see that personally, to stop all these people from talking shit about him. And once it's all said and done, they gonna see. I don't care if it's first ballot or second ballot. I think Matt Ryan's gonna be in the Hall of Fame. I think it's gonna be more second ballot, but if Phillip Rivers gets in the Hall of Fame, Matt Ryan has to get in the Hall of Fame. Has to.
Now
Rivers never won an MVP. He's never even been to the Super Bowl. And they're both in the top 10 of all time in yards. So I want to see Matt Ryan finish his career out happy, and I want the hate to stop, and we can move on and just be happy with that. I've already made a peace with whatever happens, whether we can move on from Julio, man. I've already made peace with it. I'm not gonna be angry no matter what we do. But moving forward, and you guys can answer this later, my vision from the team is a lot different than most people. I am completely done with a high-flying vertical offense. I want this team to be a heavy run, heavy defensive team. When we were competitive, our run game was on point. Michael Turner was killing it. the years of Warwick Dunn, the years of Jamal Anderson. Anytime we were really good, our running back was killing it. And we've gotten away from that because we got all these shiny weapons, these toys for Matt to play with. And it seems like once we got all these toys, we neglected the defense right after that. And we're all offense, no defense. All wide receivers, no run game. And I would like a brand new system, like Smitty said, maybe a quarterback that doesn't have to be a Patrick Mahomes, but he has to be good enough to operate the offense. Maybe like a Jared Goff level of quarterback where he doesn't have to be the best pass in the world, but if we have the right coaching, if we have the defense, an elite defense, an elite run game, we can get back to winning again. And that to me is where I want to go. I'm done with the. I mean, look at Seattle Seahawks. All this let Russ cook and their defense is trash. They're starting to look like the Falcons losing games too. I mean, they can't protect them. They're not running the football, and they're just letting Russ cook, but the defense is getting torched. That is good for a little bit, but it's not a sustainable model, in my opinion. And there's so many examples like the New England Patriots with Randy Moss breaking all types of records, blah, blah, blah. And then the moment they get to the Super Bowl, they lose to Eli Manning, who wasn't having that great of a season. And that defense shut them down, and they won a Super Bowl because of it. And so that's what I'm talking about. I want a team like that New York Giants team where the quarterback doesn't have to be that amazing, but if we have an elite defense and run game, it's going to take us places, and we're going to consistently be in the hunt. I mean, hell, look at the Ravens. It doesn't matter who they get rid of on defense. They always have a solid, scary defense, and they're always in the playoff hunt. They're always competitive. Even with Lamar Jackson struggling at times, they're still a competitive team because of that defense and that run game. Tell me what y'all think about that, or do you still want to keep a vertical passing team?
Nah, I'm all with the run game, man. I've said that on many occasions. A team that runs the football can wear down a defense faster than a vertical pass team. And like I said 2 times already,
100%.
When you talk about wanting to keep Matt Ryan in those contracts, you got to find a way to keep him on the field. And I think a strong run game does that.
Nick?
I agree. I definitely agree 100%. I definitely think we need to get more balance on offense, and we need to focus on our defense for sure. I think we got the pieces on offense. We proved that year in and year out with the numbers we put up with Matt, Julio, and the company. But I definitely think it's time that we get a running back that can tote that ball down in, down out, and a defense that can play down in, down out. And 1 second, because my phone's about to die, so I'm about to go get my phone charger.
Right.
I'll be right back.
All right. And Smitty, like we talked about earlier, the Raiders, that's a great model to follow. Get a quarterback that's the level of a Derek Carr. He can play, but he's not Patrick Mahomes. The run game is solid. The offensive line is solid. The defense is solid. And look how competitive they are. If we and they stick to the run no matter what. And every game, the running back has 20 carries a game consistently.
I'm glad you said something about the Giants, though. They Jerry Reese or Dave Gettleman.
Mm-hmm.
Would you put them in the GM conversation because of those Giant teams they built? Sometimes the Giants weren't very good, but they stayed competitive and found a way to build their team back. And you remember they won the Super Bowl at 9-7. So that would be something to think about.
Well, I mean, the Giants back in those days, they had Lawrence Taylor, who's absolutely ridiculous.
No, they had Eli
97.
Manning.
Okay,
they had when they won the Super Bowl, they were 9-7. Eli Manning was the quarterback, and they won that Super Bowl off defense alone.
Yeah, they never even had superstar wide receivers. I mean, Brandon Jacobs, he was okay. Who's that short dude? Forgetting his name. The short dude, the Giants running back.
Ahmad Bradshaw.
Ahmad Bradshaw wasn't the best running back in the league, but he was decent. And you're right, that front four, man, Kiwanuka, Justin Tuck, and them boys, JPP, OC. that's all. That Super Bowl showed me all I need to know about that defense wins championships, because they barely blitzed that game. They just used the front four, and Brady couldn't. I mean, right in his face, he couldn't do nothing. Randy Moss is running routes, and they can't get him the football because the defense is smothering Tom Brady. And that just showed me, like, we don't need superstar receivers and superstar quarterbacks to get it done. It's all about that defense. That's what it's about. Hell, Patrick Mahomes didn't even play great in his Super Bowl that he won. But the defense showed up. The running game showed up. And I'm just sick of scoring all these points and then we lose games because the defense don't hold its own. They don't. And every time we get to the fourth quarter with the lead, we gotta, we're sweating and we're scared because we know the defense. We just know the defense is gonna blow it every single time.
But you got to think about this, man. Think about this. What is the Falcons' identity on defense?
It's supposed to be fast and physical and aggressive. That's what it's supposed to be. But you can, but when teams come in with the identity that they're going to run the ball down our throats all game long, it breaks our team and we get exhausted real fast. And then we don't want it. We don't want it anymore in the fourth quarter. And then that's when guys are getting gassed and getting gashed up the middle. And it's funny because Smitty, I went back and I was watching those Falcons games from back in the day, and they had the same similar type. The dude Jim Nantz said on the announcement, he said the Falcons are a smaller defensive team, and you can run on this team. And I'm like, damn, I'm talking about the 1992 Falcons, and this is the 2020 Falcons. It's the same exact team, a smaller team that gets pushed around by bigger offensive lines and a great run game. If we have to fix that defensive line, I want bigger players. I'm over this whole small, fast, and physical thing. It's great for the first quarter, second quarter, you feeling good, but can you sustain that when a team is going to run the football on you all game long? Our guys get tired. In the Super Bowl, you saw our guys got tired. You saw it, and that's when Tom Brady came back. Like, I want bigger, stronger, physical players.
That's another thing. Teams need to stick with the fundamentals of football. You have a defensive tackle that's 285 pounds. That's not going to float in the NFL. If y'all remember Gilbert Brown for the Packers back in the day.
Yeah, dude, fat as fuck.
He was just taking up space for Reggie White and Sean Jones and players of that nature to get to the quarterback. And that's what Grady Jarrett needs. That's what Dante Fowler needs, and any other pass rusher. You need that big body up front. If you say, like, you get a big guy like Danny Shelton that eats space, that totally changes the dynamic of the run defense. Even Deion Jones can move, run more free. So stick to the fundamentals of football and the players that fit a certain type. And that's part of your problem fix.
Nick, what do you think?
I agree with you, my man. I think it's about time for us to get rid of the fast, the physical. You know what I'm saying? The whole Dan Quinn regime and everything that he wanted to bring to Atlanta, it's time for let it go. I think we still need to keep Deion Jones. I think we need to keep Walker. I know they're both smaller linebackers, but outside of Grady Jarrett on our defensive line, man, we're not pushing. We're not pushing it. So I agree. I think it's time. It's time. It's more than time that we need to get some beef up front and we need to focus on our defense.
And I guarantee when the new coach comes in, he's just going to do something simple as switch positions. If Deion Jones moves outside to help with the coverage, another easy fix. And I guarantee you it will happen because you need a thumper up the middle at middle linebacker that, can, just take on offensive linemen, fullbacks, tight ends, or whatever he needs to. So that's what they need in the middle. I'm not saying Deion Jones is not that guy, but he's too small to be a middle linebacker. He's more of an outside linebacker that covers.
I agree with that to some extent. There's times when I feel like Deion Jones is an amazing middle linebacker, and then there's times where I see him get run over. So I still think he's a great player, like you said, but I think if we had a bigger middle linebacker, it'd be better. I look at like the Rams when they put Ndamukong Suh next to Aaron Donald. I mean, they didn't have the best linebackers in the world, but that line was so dominant. I mean, got them to the Super Bowl. Grady Jarrett is a baby Aaron Donald, and I still think that we never put a quality defensive tackle next to Grady, except for when we had Don Terry Poe. And someone said in the comment section, Don Terry Poe is the perfect player to put next to Grady. We can't rely on Grady to do everything, and I feel like that's what we're doing. Our other guys ain't cutting it. Dante Fowler's not cutting it. Vic Beasley wasn't cutting it. Tack wasn't cutting it. I'm not sold on Kaminsky moving inside. Now, obviously, we have Marlon Davidson, but I think Marlon Davidson would be better on the outside. Keep him on the outside because we still need to replace Tack and Vic. Get another defensive end, but I still think we still need another defensive tackle. I really do. Deidrin Sanat was a failed project, didn't work out. What do you think, Smitty? You think we got to get another defensive tackle?
We definitely do. I don't know if y'all remember Rod Coleman, about a little bit over 10 years ago. He wasn't the biggest person in the world, but when they put Grady Jackson next to him, that dude was a wrecking machine. He may be one of the most underrated defensive tackle to ever play for the Falcons.
That was back with Mike Smith, right?
Right. No.
We had bigger guys back then.
It was Jim Mora. He played under Jim Mora. But
we had way bigger defensive linemen back then.
Right. So if you put size up front, I think Grady Jarrett will wreak havoc. And he may be put in the conversation with Aaron Donald.
Nick, what do you think?
Great. Tyler Davidson's not cutting it. Nobody's cutting it next to Grady Jarrett. I think I know we're talking about defensive tackle position, but I think we're overpaying Fowler a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if we let him go after this year. I definitely think Tyler Davidson's not cutting it. I don't think anybody's cutting our defensive line except so we definitely need to get a defensive tackle. We definitely need some pass rush.
And I said it before it happened. We paying money to guys like Jamon Brown, James Carpenter, and I feel like we always neglect the defensive line so much. I was happy that we actually made a move for Dante Fowler. Maybe we paid him a little too much money, but at least we did something on that front. I just feel like Thomas Dimitroff had to go. He fucked up a lot of times, especially in free agency. There's so many other people who I look at guys like the Packers. They had Zadarius Smith and then Preston Smith, and their defense has improved so much because they went on free agency and got the quality guys. And we won't do that, but then we think we can get a garbage bargain bin player in free agency like those offensive linemen and think that we're going to turn them into gold. Like, there's a reason they've been on multiple teams. There's a reason why no one wants to pick them up. And I feel like for the longest time, and I've heard Thomas Dimitroff say this, I believe that we can get quality guys deep in the draft and develop them. And I'm like, no, that is like the exception to the rule. That's not something that you can consistently bank on happening. And I feel like a lot of times Thomas Dimitroff just assumed that was going to happen. And Dan Quinn assumed we were just going to get these guys from the LOB like the KJ Wrights of the world and those other guys in the Seahawks who weren't high draft picks and turned into amazing players. That is not common in the NFL. They got lucky, getting those players. And sometimes we just don't take the obvious quality players. So whoever our next GM is, I hope we just take the quality. TJ Watt in front of us, and we pass on him for Tack McKinley because we think we can develop Tack McKinley, knowing he had a bum shoulder coming out of college. Like, you got to just sometimes common sense take the better player. TJ Watt is right there. His production is right there.
I don't know what the hell he was looking at when he was scouting that player, man. I just don't know. TJ Watt, you saw him in college. He was a wrecking ball. And you take Tack McKinley because the Cowboys put pressure on you to take Tack McKinley. You did it. Come on, man.
And at the bare minimum, you got to look at his bloodline. He's a fucking Watt. They're all good. You got to look at the bloodline. You got to, and then you can look at his production. I mean, they matched up, Smitty. There's no excuse why they shouldn't take TJ Watt. I laugh at my Chicago Bears friends all the time because Mitchell Trubisky. Like, you had Deshaun Watson, national championship Heisman Trophy winner, staring you in the face, and you're like, no, we can develop Mitchell Trubisky and trade up for him. Like, I don't understand some of these people are paid experts, and they make some of the dumbest decisions I've ever seen in my life. And I'm over here, I'm making YouTube videos on my damn couch, and I'm making these decisions before it happens. Like, I don't understand. I really don't.
Makes 0 sense, bro. You're a preacher right now.
I'm gonna get on my pulpit and preach right now.
Think about if the Bears had drafted Mahomes or Watson with what they have. They've, had a pretty good defense the last 10 years. All they needed was a starting quarterback. But you knew what the board take Mitchell Trubisky over those two. That's crazy, man.
That's why I said I think Dak Prescott should go to the Chicago Bears. I think that would work with that defense and that run game.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
I definitely could.
He'd be the best player they've had since Jay Cutler. A lot of people didn't see my final topic I want to get into, because football's about to start. The first pick in the draft, what direction do you want to see this team go in? I'll go first. Like I said before, I want to rebuild this defense and the run game. So if we can't get a quarterback, obviously I don't think we're going to get a quarterback in the first round. So I'm okay with a defensive end. I'm okay with Patrick Surtain, the cornerback, and put him opposite of A.J. Terrell. And I'm also okay with, if we can't get him in the second round, I'm okay with Najee Harris to culture change our running back, to have a guy you can feed every talking about 3-down runner, and he's big and he's strong and you can feed it to him. Najee Harris, and he can catch out the backfield. Najee Harris would be a great pickup. Smitty, you could tell me if he's a first rounder or a second rounder, but then I would trade back into the first round, and I would try to get Kyle Trask from Florida. Smitty, what do you think about that?
I would love that, man. I said, Kyle Trask from the get-go. I think he'd be, still there in the second or third round.
For real?
Zach Wilson would be my quarterback if I was to pick one. I like the way, his pocket presence. He can make all the throws. He's just there upstairs. He's just there. But with the first round pick, I think, and I said it in the previous video, I think outside the box. I would rebuild that offensive line before anything. We got to have Matt Ryan another year or two, rebuild that offensive line, switch players around. Alex Mack, this is probably his last, season in Atlanta. So offensive line would probably be key.
Nick?
I'm thinking a little bit outside the box too, but before I say who I'm thinking, who exactly on the offensive line you talking when you say rebuild the offensive line? Who you mean? I know Alex Mack's probably going to go, and they're talking about moving Matt Hennessy to center. But who outside of Alex Mack on the offensive line? Who you thinking who needs to go?
I'm going to say switch Jake Matthews back to right tackle, like he played in college. Move McGarry to the left guard position, because to me, I think he's, strong in the run game, and guard fits him more than tackle does. His footwork sucks, and I've said this on multiple occasions. He gets, speed rushes just run right around. So you put him as a run blocker on the inside of the trade up to get the Penny Sewell dude from Oregon. I think that's your offensive line fix right there. You can get solid defenders, in any round in the draft. We saw that with Grady Jarrett and Deion Jones. They weren't first round pick, but they're the stars of the team. So, left tackle would be my, main focus in the first round.
I agree with that to a certain extent, Smitty. I think defensive end is one of those positions where I think you got to go first, second round quality. They start to trickle down towards the end of the round. Corner, you're right. Corner, I think, is corner and safety. Those are guys you can get later on. Linebackers you can later on. But defensive end, to me, I think you have to get quality in the first, second round. But you're right.
Yeah.
We got to pick the offensive line too.
I agree.
But are we drafting
but-
to hold up Matt Ryan until he leaves? Or are we drafting post Matt Ryan? That's the question.
We need a franchise tackle that can play the next 10 to 15 years. Just that simple. Jake Matthews is a solid player, but I don't think he's a franchise left tackle.
I would be okay with that, Smitty, if we're going to invest in defense and free agency. But you know us, we don't do that. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So we can't neglect defense in the draft and then neglect defense in free agency and then still have a shitty ass defense.
Right.
We got to do one or the other.
Yeah. True.
I agree.
So Nick, do you
I'll
think
tell you one thing.
are you want to build defense in the draft or you want to build defense in free agency?
That's really tough. I think I'd want to build the defense through the draft. But with that being said, I don't know if I would take a defensive player in the first round though. I really I'm a little different than most people, you know what I'm saying? But I think I'd like you've been preaching, we need a running game. And I like the Najee Harris in the second round. If we can get Najee Harris in the second round, then I'm all for that. You know what I'm saying? But that Clemson running back, man, he's damn good. Etienne?
Oh, Etienne?
Yeah.
He might be a first rounder.
Do you think he'll be a first rounder, or do you think we could scoop him later too?
I don't know where they're evaluating running backs this year, but they might be back in the first round, early second round. If we wait too long, we can miss one of them.
I got two names for
What's
y'all.
that?
I got
Go
two
ahead.
names for y'all to look at, and I'm gonna make this quick. Sonny Michel in New England. He's just sitting on the bench, comes in every now and then. He could be a solid running back. Naheem Hines from the Indianapolis Colts. Marlon Mack comes back. Jonathan Taylor is still there. Where does that leave him? That's two solid running backs you could probably get for a 5th or 6th round pick. So that's something that they should look at, when the draft rolls around. Probably trade for a veteran that's been, a couple of years in the league. Change the pace back. I think it would work.
I also like,
I like
Giovanni Bernard, the backup on the Bengals.
Right. Receiving back. Yeah.
And he receiving back. He would be instantly better than Ito Smith, like right off the bat.
Yep.
But
I got one question.
Go ahead.
What do you think about the possibility of Tevin Coleman coming back? Because I know he's starting to. This is his last year in the 49ers deal. He's been injury plagued this year. You know what I mean? But I'm just throwing it out there. What you guys think? What you guys think about the possibility of Tevin Coleman return after this year?
That depends on the system as well. I think if they get, offensive coordinator or a coach that could use him, I would definitely think about it because I think with those injuries, you could get him on a nice deal.
Mm-hmm.
I think his train might have passed due to his injuries. I was one of those people who said we should have never paid Devontae Freeman and we should have kept Tevin Coleman. I said that before Freeman got paid. People killed me for it. Said I'm a dumbass. Freeman's amazing, and then what did he do? Nothing. Dude broke down, running sideways, running backwards, can't block. There's so many things I can't stand about Devontae Freeman, and that's another discussion for another day. But I was a Tevin Coleman guy. I think his time has passed, though. I would, like Smitty said, try to go for a free agent backup running back, a guy who's solid but doesn't do much on the team because the team already has a solid running back at number one. But that our number one running back has to come through the draft, and it has to be an earlier running back. It has to be a Najee Harris.
Think about it. The reason why I said, I would look at a running back, in free agency or trade. Michael Turner was sitting behind LT in San Diego. They weren't afraid to make that move. They saw he was that guy. Turned out very well. So I think they could do the same thing, when 2021 rolls around.
They also had Darren Sproles behind that. That team was stacked at running back.
Yep.
If it was a perfect world, first round, Patrick Surtain. Second round or trade up, Najee Harris. Third round, if he's still there, Kyle Trask. That would be those three pieces moving forward, I would be totally okay with getting rid of Julio Jones and Matt Ryan for the future. And then we could build on that team. Before we get going, I want to go to the comment section because I appreciate everybody joining my stream. Once again, like this stream. Please subscribe to my guys, Nick Williams and Smitty. Nick is at the Scrape. Smitty Sports Machine. Let's get into these comments. A lot of people are talking Kyle Trask. Jamie Newman from Georgia might be the top type to follow Matt. I don't follow Georgia. Smitty, what do you think about Jamie Newman?
I never really seen him play. I saw him one game in Wake Forest, but that was about it.
Okay. Anderson, Turner, Dunn, and Duckett. We've had some great running backs, but we need to get back to the dirty bird mentality. Gary Page. I agree with that too. Fernando Alvarez says, what's up? Hey, what's up, Fernando? Appreciate you joining my stream. Neil Marsh says, number 7 overall quarterback per Kuiper. I don't know if he's talking about. I think it's crapshoot this draft. Who knows? Only 10 decent quarterbacks at overall. Number 10 is projected between 2nd and 4th round because so many teams need quarterbacks. Let's see. I've been tired of this trash O-line with no push for years. Deion Jones needs to be on the outside. Mossberg Mike says top 10 defense that we didn't build on. Shake my head. Let's go down. I think Fowler gets another year. What's Fowler's contract? Is he on a 1 year?
3.
No,
Jesus Christ.
Right? Yeah, 3.
Oh my God. Let's hope it works out, man, because so far he ain't been worth the money. The Falcons need people that's going to make plays. David M says ETN will not be running between the tackles in the NFL. There's a lot of players said they weren't inside runners in the NFL, that weren't going to be runners inside the NFL, and they turned out to be great. One of those being Christian McCaffrey. A lot of people said he was not going to be an inside runner. He's going to get banged up, and he's like literally one of the best running backs in the NFL. Probably number 1 in my opinion when healthy. William Paul says we need a legitimate free safety. Where do y'all think we should be reaching at for free safety?
I said move Isaiah Oliver to free safety. I've been saying that for a year and a half. Perfect size, can play well in zone. I think he's a perfect move, man. They should think about it.
Because we all know he can't handle man coverage to save his life.
Nope. I can go out there and play corner better than Isaiah Oliver right now.
Neil Marsh says Surtain won't be available, but maybe Caleb Farley in round 1. That's not a choice. I also like the dude in Georgia. God, what's his name? The cornerback.
Campbell.
Mm-hmm. No, he has a weird name.
Oh, you talking about Stroud? Stroud, something like that.
Nah. God damn it. Maybe it's the linebacker. I don't remember what position he is.
The only other person I can think of is LeCount.
LeCount, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's a safety though.
Okay.
Yeah.
He'd be a great pickup. But he's probably gonna be a 1st round pick, correct?
I think top of the 2nd.
Top of the 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
MJ says there's no scenario where I'd be okay with getting rid of Julio Jones. Hey.
Nope.
Eventually, players can't play forever, okay? Brett Favre had to go. Joe Montana went to a different team. Peyton Manning went to a different team.
Think about it.
At some point,
if you can get a late 1st round, early 2nd round for Julio Jones and a 4th, you mean to tell me with a rebuilding process you would not take that? 32 years old, injuries are building up. You got to.
Smitty, the people who say they won't take that, they're in denial of the decline of our team or Julio Jones injuries. Realistic, objective people. That's why we make these videos, because we take our feelings out of it. We look at it from an objective perspective. Yeah, I can come out here and say, oh, Julio Jones for life, but we know this team is not going to get Julio Jones a ring right now. We got to rebuild. And he's breaking down. He's 31 because we relied so heavily on Julio Jones in the passing game to carry us year in, year out, and it's broken the man down. So
the two best receivers that ever played the game, Jerry Rice and Randy Moss. What did they end up at?
Right. And if we had a more balanced team for years, Julio Jones wouldn't have been so broken down because we had to rely on him to win games. Damn, 300 yards to win a game. Like, that's as great as he is. We relied way too much on him, and that's the problem. That's why he's so injured. We have to think about moving on. It's a hard discussion, but that's why we're here for. We bring the truth to Falcons Nation. That's our job as content creators. So you got to take your feelings out of it. We have to eventually move on from Julio Jones. And you're right, Smitty. If we were offered all those picks, you got to take that. You got to take that, bro. We can still get a first round for Julio Jones and possibly a second round.
Think about it. He also plays a position that you can flip faster than any position in football. You can find a great A wide receiver anywhere. If it was a quarterback or defensive back, linebacker, any other position, I would say no. But wide receiver is something that you can hit on the light switch.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So before I get out of here, final thoughts on this Falcons Chargers game. Anything we haven't talked about? What are you looking for, Nick, in this game?
Man, I'm hoping we just start out fast, man. I hope we can jump to an early lead. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 7-10 points. And I'm hoping that our defense brings the pressure. And then I hope the Chargers are fighting from behind all game. That's what I want to see. I want to see us hold on to a lead at the end of the game, because that's what it's going to come down to. I'm thinking 30-24 Atlanta.
Smitty?
Yeah, I think we need to find a way to control the clock. You know, get the run game going, keep them off the field. They can do that. I think Atlanta wins.
Well,
if they can do that, I think I give Atlanta a 20-17 chance.
I mean, is Todd Gurley gonna be on the field, or is he gonna be riding the bike? That's what I need to know. Because if he gonna go out there one play and then come out and ride the stationary bike, we're gonna lose this game because we can't run the football. Brian Hill is not the answer to me. Ito Smith is decent in spurts, but he can't handle a full load to me. He's too small. The thing I'm looking for is Justin Herbert has an underrated mobility and speed about him that the Falcons need to worry about. He will take off on your ass if there's nothing available. And he's like a little faster than Derek Carr. He will take off and run on you. So the Falcons got to be ready for that, because we struggle so much on running quarterbacks. I mean, I don't know what it is. Damn, Taysom Hill. It's like, oh my God. Don't get me started on every time we play fucking Taysom Hill. It's like you see it coming from a mile away. He's going to run the football, and we are like deer in headlights every time Taysom Hill runs the football. So I don't know what that is. Well, I do know what it is. I said in my other video, what teams do is you motion Alvin Kamara out, Deion Jones follows him because they know we're in man coverage. And then the moment Deion Jones is not in that area, Taysom Hill just runs right up the middle on us, and we can't figure that out. So look for the Chargers to incorporate Justin Herbert in this run game. Like I said, Eckler out the backfield. You're right. We got to stop Hunter Henry. We struggle on tight ends. Smitty, like you said before, I was amazed at how great we did versus Darren Waller, who's the second best tight end in the NFL. If we have a game like that, I think we'll beat the Chargers. If we have a game like versus the Saints where we can't run, it's going to be a long day. Joey Bosa is going to tee off on Matt Ryan.
And you got to think about, too, Ricardo Allen is out for this game. That's another hole that you're going to have to worry about. So look for Hunter Henry to be running free in the middle of the field the whole game.
So we got Rashard Neesman starting?
Yep.
That's what I just heard that.
I don't like Rashard Neesman. I don't think he's good at all. He's clearly just a backup. He's a guy you can find anywhere in the draft, 6th rounder, 7th rounder. But anyways, I appreciate you guys joining my stream. It's always love, and I love talking Falcons, that real talk. Plug your channels real quick before we go. Smitty, go ahead. You the old veteran in this group, so let them know where we can find you, bro.
Hey, man, y'all can find me on Twitter at FatBoySlim_21. Catch all my work, blogging, YouTube, anything I do, podcasts, Smitty Sports Machine. Just Google me if you can't find it.
And this man makes videos every goddamn day. I'm talking about if Matt Ryan takes a piss, Smitty makes a video. This man is on it. Subscribe to his channel. He puts in the work. Smitty Sport. That's that's a perfect name for your channel, Sports Machine, because you are a machine. You be cranking those videos out. That's what I love about you, bro. You are just a consistent monster in posting these videos, bro. I'm always impressed with you, Smitty. Nick Williams, go ahead. It's on you. Tell me where we can find you, bro.
At BoyWonder32 on Twitter, BOII Wonder32. YouTube channels is great. I don't got as much content out there as my fellow colleagues right here, but if you definitely just hit me with a subscribe, you can definitely look forward to some more videos. But I do got one more question for both of you guys before we get out of here.
Go ahead.
Dude, has Quadre Allison the ball one time this year?
He has. He has like once or twice, but not a lot. We don't use him anymore.
What's up with that? Because I remember it wasn't I think it was just last year, dude. He was like at the goal line, man. He's pretty much 100% at the goal line if you give it to him down there.
Blame Dan Quinn.
Shit, Dan Quinn.
I think
Allison run the ball, bro. I won't lie to you.
I'm still lost as to why they drafted him and they haven't used him yet. I think they should have thought about him before bringing in Todd Gurley. Use that money towards somebody on the defense. I mean, I'm just lost.
Exactly. Yeah,
Dan Quinn once again. Dan Quinn. I'm one of those people who watched all Dan Quinn's press conference, and that man will straight up just lie to your face every time we got a new player. He said Quadre Olsen would be heavily involved in our offense, and he can do more than goal line. That didn't happen. We didn't use him at all. We just completely forgot about him. He said Deidris Knott will be a heavy rotation player next to Grady Jarrett, will start next to him. That hasn't happened. He said Sean Harlow. He said Sean Harlow could be a heavily involved offensive lineman to come, and he's not a project. We think he can start right away. Sean Harlow barely sniffed the field. There's so many players Dan Quinn promised that would start on this team and play, and it just hasn't happened. So blame Dan Quinn for why Quadre, and I hope Quadre Olsen gets another chance on a different team because I don't think he's bad. If he has blocking, he can run the football. It's just that we can't block him. And he's strong at the goal line.
Like the Steelers.
I agree. 100%.
Imagine Olsen on a team like the Steelers who love to run the ball.
Exactly. I mean, the Steelers have Benny Snell as their backup. Quadre Olsen's better than Benny Snell. So you're right. On a better system, Quadre Olsen would definitely produce. So that's what happened to him. We're okay. We got to let it go. Dan Quinn's gone out the building. So hopefully the new regime is going to actually tell the truth and play the players who deserve to play. So, yeah, that's what happened. But I appreciate you guys coming out. This is your boy, Jazzy Jeff. Real talk, no gimmicks, bringing that real Falcons talk to real Falcons fans. I appreciate Smitty and Nick coming through. Please subscribe to their channels. Now, Nick, when I get these people to subscribe to your channel, bro, they're going to be expecting videos. You going to be dropping more videos? I'm putting you on. You gotta produce, bro.
I definitely appreciate it. I greatly appreciate it, my man. You could definitely expect to see some more videos. I've just been busy. Just bought a house.
I'm telling you, if you take a 1 week break, they are on you. They're like, hey, Jeff, where the videos at? Where you been at, bro?
I'm here.
Hey, Nick, if you ever need help, man, I got you, bro.
So Nick, when you post videos, bro, we will, me and Smitty will tag you on the videos and we'll get your name out there, bro, and we'll get those subs up. What are you at right now? What's your sub count?
Last I looked, man, I don't even know. I don't even think I'm to 100 yet, to be honest with you.
Hey, you gotta start somewhere. Jew Talk Sports, who's a Falcons content creator, he started out of nowhere. We got him up. He's at like 700 something now. So you gotta start somewhere, bro. I was a nobody at 2 subscribers. You gotta start somewhere, you know. So we gonna get you there, okay?
I appreciate you guys, and definitely look for let me know next time when you keep going live. I'll definitely slide on whenever you go live.
And when this pandemic is over, we gotta kick it one day, bro, or see a Falcons game.
No, definitely. I drive about 3 hours north, and I'll be there.
All right. So I appreciate y'all coming. And as always, Falcons Nation, we rise up. Let's go get these Chargers. And I'm out. Appreciate you guys.